Hi,
Hello,
how
how are
are
you,
you?
Daniele?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, good to see you.
Same here. Same here. How is everything on your
Everything
end?
is okay. Well,
Yeah.
we're trying to manage during this harsh times, but yeah, we keep on moving forward. We have the cause that we're working on every day, the animal cause, and spreading awareness. It's an everyday thingy. So yeah, we're holding on.
Anja, يعطيك العافية. It's a great cause to work. I mean, to work on, and it's a very challenging cause.
It is. It is actually, because actually we're talking to people who have been conditioned all through their existence to consume animal products. So whenever you come and try to inform them that there's another way to live that causes less harm for the animals, for our body, and for the environment. So yeah, this is what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I think, and I think, I mean, what I've noticed is that people kind of tend to be emotionally attached to their beliefs and to what they're accustomed to. So to take these emotions away, they kind of like hang on to it.
Yes, absolutely. And they try to find excuses to continue doing what they do. Actually, there's two kind of people, if I may. The first kind of people that when they're exposed to the truth, they find it so horrific, and then they take a moral stand. They stop and they go vegan. And you have the other kind of people who, once they are exposed with the truth, they will try to find excuses because, as you just mentioned, they are accustomed to, they are used to, and they are like addicted to meat, dairy, and eggs. Because I believe that the biggest form of addiction, or the most important drug that anyone can take, is flesh and blood and secretions from animals. So yeah, the second kind of people will try to find excuses, try to find a way to discredit our message, whereas what we try to expose and to spread is nothing but the truth. And it's up to them either to accept it, to take it, or to find silly excuses such as plants have feelings, or God gave us the permission, or we need protein, the protein myth, or the calcium myth concerning dairy. It's not their fault, you know. They have been conditioned, educated from their early age to consider protein as meat and to consider calcium as cow's milk. You know, it's not their fault. But then again, since today we're living in an era where we have abundance of information and the truth is one click away, we can just stand sitting at the receiver and just to receive information. We have the responsibility to do our own research and to dig more. And since today the internet is available for everyone, it's our duty to search more and to dig more and to know more and to find out if what they're trying to sell us, is it really for our own benefit, or is it just for them to make money out of our health, out of enslaving and torturing and killing animals and killing our planet as well. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's our job to know more and to have a moral stand towards the new information that we just gathered.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, so I was just waiting because we're actually spot on time. So I would like to introduce you and myself for the ones who don't know us. So George, thank you so much for your valuable time given to myself and to
It's a
whomever
pleasure.
on with us and whomever will view it, this valuable video later on. Thank you. Thank you, and for everything you do, actually. So, for the ones who don't know George, so George Hayek is the owner of the exemplary hospital in Lebanon, the Hayek Hospital. And what I loved about the hospital, your hospital, is that you not only just treat the symptoms, but you also make people aware. You kind of raise an awareness about the causes of illnesses, and also you're the first hospital, if I'm not mistaken, to have a vegan menu, right?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
George is a wonderful person inside out, who does beautiful work in increasing awareness on animal abuses and on veganism. He's the founder of Lebanese Vegan, which I follow full-heartedly. And through all the workshops and all the activities and all the work that you're doing, I've been introduced to amazing people, really amazing people who do challenging work in terms of I mean towards this towards animal rights. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Danielle. It's really a pleasure to be with you, talking to you, and to your audience as well. I think that it's a very important issue that we should tackle today. Animal agriculture is today's biggest injustice issue. We are enslaving, torturing, killing more than 70 billion land animals every year and 2.5 trillion sea and air animals every year. So this is a huge injustice that we are living in our society today. This is why, concerning the hospital, as you mentioned, I try to veganize the hospital as much as I can today. I already introduced a full vegan menu in our cafeteria and in our kitchen that serves our patients at the floors. We have every day a vegan option to offer to our patients. Our dietitian every day, while conducting her visit to the patients, she tried to offer, first of all, the vegan option for lunch and for dinner, and she tries as well to inform them on the importance to treat basically the root cause of our diseases, not just treat symptoms.
Yes.
So she tries to educate them on choosing, first of all, the vegan option, and then why they should choose the vegan option over the animal's flesh. And they should know that if they are in our hospital or at any hospital suffering, most probably they are suffering because what they're injecting in their body, and mainly it's flesh and blood and chicken's period and secretions from cows and other animals. So yeah, this is concerning the hospital. Concerning Lebanese vegans and our daily posts, I know that our posts are not likable posts. I know that are very harsh posts. But as I started Lebanese Vegans, I knew that I wasn't going to open up a Disney account. I know that I was going to open up something that will annoy people, that will trigger people, that will shake their comfort zone. And this is exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to shake people. I wanted to tell everyone that if it's normalized, if this violence and horror is normalized and legalized, does it make it any less horrible? Yeah, not to be apologetic, say things the way they are, never sugarcoat the truth, expose what those industries don't want us to expose, the cruelty, the killing, the agony, the bloodshed. So yeah, we just open up the TV, the mainstream media. We are literally bombarded by commercials lying to us, mainly showing the happy cows running on green fields, dancing, singing. Today cows are singing, and we don't even find it offensive. We just laugh at it and know, yeah, a cute ad, But actually, what they're doing, they are lying to us. They are making us feel good about our bad choices.
Yes.
So no, what we do at Lebanese Vegans is we show exactly that this cow is not running on green fields. This cow is not happy, is not dancing, is not singing. This cow is fighting for her life. This cow doesn't want to die. This cow doesn't want to have a sharp knife slitting her throat, dying in agony, in order for us to have a 10-minute steak and enjoy the flesh of a dead, murdered animal. This is unacceptable. We're living in 2020 today. It's no more acceptable to shed and to turn a blind eye on something so horrific, and yet consider ourselves to be peaceful people and non-violent people, and continue this nonsense, this hypocrisy, on and on. We just can't. I personally can't, and I can't watch it continue. This is why I'm doing all what I can with my daily post, with the conferences that we're conducting here at the hospital, whereas it's for the medical stuff, the nurse stuff, or for public. As you mentioned, we already conducted many conferences and
Yeah.
seminars regarding this issue, trying to educate everyone, doctors, nurses, people, everyone.
Absolutely.
And the thing is that we can no longer tolerate this injustice, because at the end of the day, it came out to be not about love. It's not about loving dogs or chicken or cows or animals in general. You can't just not love animals. It's not a matter of compassion or not. It's not about that. It's all about justice and injustice. So when you see an injustice, do you support it, or do you try to stop it? Animals being stabbed in their throats is nothing but injustice. You don't need to be an animal lover to go vegan. I know a lot of people who don't just care about animals, but they care about justice, and seeing an animal dying in unnecessary way is
Ab-
completely unacceptable. So yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a challenging cause. It's
of
a challenging
course.
cause. I would like to also, because I can see many people who, I mean, some people who went on and then off. There are a lot of people who are not vegan, are already vegan, and who do respect the cause a lot. Now, in my profession as a lifestyle and health, a nutrition and lifestyle health coach, I kind of I help people to go on a plant-based diet, and then what I've noticed is that once you go on a plant-based diet, there is no way of return, because this is where they understand how all the phytonutrients or the phytochemicals that you can get from plants are so vital for our health in general. Whereas we've been, like you said, been brainwashed kind of throughout the decades, and especially I think the last 40 years of us being on this planet, we've caused so much damage to the biology of our planet. I think about 55% damage, which is huge for 40 years. For 4 decades, we reached a point where even our DNA, a lot of scientists have realized that our DNA is changing. And some scientists, many scientists are even saying that our human species are almost going to go extinct. So I think it's a very sad era where we live in. And I think most
Yes.
probably the contribution to all of this was a lot of was the fast moving of technology and of machineries that we have introduced in everything, in agriculture, in animal farming. And animal farming, I mean, for me, I think, like you said, it's hypocrisy to feel, okay, I'm not going to, I see many people who say, well, we will not use plastic straws because of the environment, you know.
We don't want to kill the fish, and yet they're eating a fish at lunch at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what I want to narrow, because the last time we had a talk, I mean, you're someone who has done all the researches and who is up to date with all the information, and you have so much information to give and to share that I think we can speak for hours. I can take most probably your whole week, you know, talking about this subject. But
so many things to say, of course.
exactly. So I would like to narrow it down to the controversies and the myths that we tend to emotionally, as humans nowadays, to kind of like really get attached to and not wanting to let go, which are the protein myth, the B12, and calcium.
Yes.
And yes, so if we can narrow it down into more the scientific and the biology, you know, in terms of, you know, although I also take veganism at heart. Even my daughter is becoming slowly an animal activist herself. She's only 9.
Amazing.
Yeah, slowly. I mean, I never tried to force her into anything, but she had this since the beginning, and that made me realize also that humans, when we are born, we're not born to kill, actually. So we have this instinct that, and then by time, it's kind of we lose this because even the way we eat meat is not the actual. I mean, we kind of, the meat is come to our plate in different portions, like, for example, chicken nuggets for kids, like chicken as stars, you know. So we kind of, over time, we disassociate it, or when we speak about meat, speak about ribeye.
We try to disconnect the reality from the final product.
Exactly. And we tend to not really have, like, we never cook the chicken, for example, with the head and bring it to the table. I mean, that I would assume that would be a horrific scene.
Yeah, this is a matter of tradition. You know, some countries in Asia, they do so, and they find it extremely normal. So it's a matter of tradition here. Yeah.
You're right. Although in Asia, I feel...
Yeah, go ahead.
Also, like, when they say, well, I mean, I have respect for every culture, and I think every culture's customs and traditions.
Of course, I mean, there's no difference between the Western diet eating chicken and cows, and Asia eating bats and snakes and whatever, or even dogs or cats. Animals are animals, flesh is flesh. So it's a matter of culture. So we should respect all culture, or disrespect when it comes to killing anyhow.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree. And I think in China, because I mean, especially with COVID-19, we got so many racism happening.
Yeah, they forgot that other pandemics emerged from elsewhere as well. You had the SARS, you had the MERS that emerged from the Middle East. The Spanish flu. So it's not an area-focused thing; it's industry-focused thing. So wherever you find wet markets or slaughterhouses or abattoir or meat market, you can expect pandemics and infections. Actually, the WHO stated that as long as people eat meat, there are still risk of infections.
Absolutely.
And the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, they stated that three out of 4 infections emerge from people eating animals. So you have 75% of all infection or all pandemics. You can blame animal agriculture and people eating animals. So yeah. Now going back, if you want to your question,
Yes,
you started by mentioning the plant-based thing and
yes,
the advantages. This is amazing. I mean, when we go vegan, we're gonna realize that we have so many advantages to take into consideration. Our health will benefit and the environment. But I would like to mention one specific point, if I may.
sure.
Veganism is about ethics, is about the animals. There are other movements that are taking care about the environment, environmentalists, and other movements that are taking care about health. So we at the vegan movement shouldn't turn around the bush and try to pick and choose arguments from other movements in order to integrate it to ours. Our mission is the animals. Our mission is the injustice towards the animals. Now, this is the big umbrella, okay? And then eventually we're gonna find out that there are a lot of advantages going plant-based as well. But why I wanted to mention this, because I think you might heard about people called ex-vegans
Yes,
who used to be vegan and then they stopped eating the plant-based and they went back to eating animals. Those people, they went vegan in the first place, not for ethical reasons. They went either for the environment. They consider that themselves as environmentalists and they don't want to cause harm to the environment, or they went vegan for health. And then one day or another, they will eventually get sick. Doesn't mean that if you're on a plant-based diet that you won't get sick. You will get sick as well. You will
absolutely.
get sick less than if you were eating a diet based on animals, but you will wake up one day, feel tired, feel sick, and you might go see your doctor. You will inform your doctor that you stopped eating meat from I don't know when. He will automatically blame it on your diet and he will blame it on you not eating flesh and blood and secretions.
Yeah,
Okay, and then this specific person will go back and announce to everyone that he stopped being vegan, that he's an ex-vegan, and
yeah,
because his health didn't or his body didn't adapt to plants, and that he had to go back and eat crops, uh,
I just
because
have to add,
his doctor,
yes, exactly. That's what I wanted
yeah,
to add.
yeah,
Yeah,
so yeah, we shouldn't go vegan because of health. We shouldn't go vegan because of the environment. We should go vegan because we should acknowledge that killing is wrong and that to participate in a normalized and legalized crime is unacceptable. This is the whole idea of veganism. Now, if we want to go deeper into the advantages of plant-based, absolutely we can. First, we should know that we're not carnivores. We're not even omnivores. This is to the biggest surprise to everyone. For the very simple reason, if you go out in the wild and search for animals, let's say for carnivores or even omnivores, if you want to do a small experiment and you want to dissect a human being, you want to dissect an omnivore, and you want to dissect herbivore and a carnivore, you will realize that us and the herbivore have very similar digestive systems compared to the very short and narrow digestive system of the carnivore and omnivore. Why is it so? Because the carnivores are supposed to eat the raw meat and dispose of it the quickest way possible so that it won't stay in their body and rot in their body. And this is when we face diseases.
yes,
Same goes to the omnivore. Have you ever seen an omnivore in the wild suffering from heart attack, from diabetes, from hypertension? No, because they are true omnivores and they are capable to inject dead flesh as well as plants. This is
yes,
being omnivore, is being able to sustain either or on flesh or on plants. But it comes to humans, and then we consider ourselves as omnivores, and then we can have both diets. Let me tell you that if it was true, I wouldn't have a hospital today. If we were really omnivores, You wouldn't have the number one cause of death, which is heart disease caused by clogged arteries due to intake of high food high in cholesterol, trans fatty acids, and saturated fat. Keep in mind that cholesterol is only and exclusively found in animal products. You can't find cholesterol in plant-based foods, even like let's say French fries, which is considered as deep frying and everything. You have zero cholesterol because it's all plant-based. Even though the saturated fat found in animal products is much higher than the saturated fat found in plant-based food. So what clogs arteries is eating meat, eggs, cheese, butter, milk. This is the cause and the root of our diseases, of diabetes, of kidney failure, of strokes, of cancers, prostate cancer, breast cancer. It all comes out to eating dairy and hormones. People are scared of soy because there's a myth that soy can can have an effect on your breast, and it can increase
Yes.
your breast. If it was true, actually, plastic surgeon would have now closed their offices because they won't have to do breast implants. People will just have to drink soy milk and have their breast enlarged. So this is all myth. And keep in mind that the estrogen found in soy is not the regular estrogen. It's something called phytoestrogen, which does actually the opposite job of estrogen. So we shouldn't be scared of eating soy and the phytoestrogen found in soy. Actually, for this specific person who is scared about estrogen, he should keep in mind and bear in mind and the biggest and the highest amount of estrogen he can inject in his body comes from milk, cheese, and meat. This is where he will get the real estrogen, not phytoestrogen. So if this person is concerned about estrogen, let him stop dairy and meat. And concerning the myth that you mentioned, that we were taught that when we hear about protein, the first thing that comes to our mind is meat, right?
Yes. Right.
Same goes to calcium. When I asked about calcium, the first thing that will pop up in our mind is specifically cow's milk, not even something else.
Not
Cow's milk.
even.
Why? I don't know.
No.
So yeah. So first, let's start by protein. The protein found in animals or animal protein is recycled
Yes.
plant protein. The cow that we are eating in order for us to get protein, this specific cow is eating grass in order for her to get protein. So what does it show? It showed that it's not meat that produces protein. Okay, we are eating the protein, the recycled protein that this piece of meat ate her protein from the grass. This is how. So all
And
protein originated from grass. They don't originate from meat.
mhm.
This is concerning protein. So
Pro-
you won't be any protein deficient if you are eating in a normal way. I mean, the only way to get protein deficient is not eating at all, because in whatever thing you're eating, you have
Right.
protein in it, in various percentage. Now, same goes to calcium. Calcium is made originally from plants, not from cow's milk. Uh, the thing is that what's really absurd is that we are the only species on Earth that drinks milk from another species. This is one. Two, we are the only species on Earth that continue drinking milk
Drinking.
even after weaning period, which is not normal at all. Have you
Absolutely.
have you seen in the wild a big cow sucking from his mother's udder? I mean, no. It's
Yeah.
only milk is the food, the fluid for newborns, for babies, whether humans or non-humans animal. This is milk. We are not supposed to inject milk in our body after weaning period. Full stop. One, we are not supposed to inject milk from another species. The only milk that we need and that our body needs is our mother's milk for this
Yes.
specific period, and then no more milk. We are not supposed to have milk. Calcium, if we are scared about calcium, okay, calcium is found in a various selection of food, legumes, vegetables, okay. So, excuse me. So, yeah, we shouldn't be concerned about calcium. We shouldn't be concerned about protein. Calcium, actually, cows milk. We should know very well. First of all, how on earth did they manage to convince us that we need cow's milk, not giraffe's milk or rhino's milk or dog's milk or
Camel.
cat's milk? How on earth did they really convince us that humans, you need cow's milk? Okay, not
Yeah.
even your mom's milk, you need cow's milk. Really? Okay. Why? Is because they pretend that if we drink cow's milk, we'll have strong bones and prevent osteoporosis. Well, guess what?
It's actually
The, guess what? Countries that consume the highest amount of dairy products have the highest rate of osteoporosis, and vice versa. So, is it true that we need calcium to have strong bones? Well, it turned out that it's just the contrary. We are weakening our bones once we inject cow's milk. Why? Because cow's milk is extremely acidic. Once you inject cow's milk in your body and your blood will turn acidic. If it stays acidic, you will die. In order for your body to neutralize this acidity, it will bleach from your own bones calcium, resulting in losing more calcium than what you injected with this cup of milk. So this is why it's another myth having strong bones while having taking
this.
milk. This is absolutely wrong. Milk causes your bones to weaken. Milk causes mucus. Milk causes breast cancer. Milk causes prostate cancer. So I don't see any advantage to consume milk for calcium and specifically cow's milk.
It's
Vitamin B12.
go ahead.
Vitamin B12, yeah. Vitamin B12, people tend to try to debunk us and to discredit vegans that, your diet is not normal. Why? Because you have to take a supplement. Well, the thing is that if today we have to take supplements, it's not because our diet is not natural. It's because we're living in an era where we are obsessed with hygiene, which we should be with all the chemicals and everything that we're living in. The thing is that we are spraying or our plants with chemicals and all the stuff in order to. The thing results in when we buy those plants, let's say carrots or cucumber or whatever. If back in the days before you had pesticide, you just
Yeah.
have to pick it up from your garden and eat it. Once you eat it, you're gonna inject B12 in your body. But since we're taking this legumes or vegetable and we're cleaning them, we are removing the pesticide eventually, and we are moving the vitamin B12 as well. Why? Because B12 is a bacteria found in soil, and when this plant grows, it will take the B12 along. So if we don't wash it, we eat it directly, we will be having B12, but we will be having pesticide because they are sprayed with pesticide. So
Absolutely.
in a normal situation where there is no pesticide, we can very easily grab a cucumber and eat it and have B12. Same goes with the water in the rivers and everything. But today it's all chemicals, and so this is why we can't just drink from the river directly. We can't eat directly from the grass. And this is why taking a B12 supplement is not a big deal.
Yes.
And we should keep in mind that if us vegans take supplement B12, well, meat eaters, they will be taking a medication for cholesterol, a medication for hypertension, a medication for you know, and at the end they will take a supplement of B12 because even meat eaters are deficient in B12. Not just the animals that they eat, thinking that they're having their B12 from the animal. Those specific animals, let's say cow or pigs, they are in return injected with B12 because even them are deficient in B12. So the
because
B12 myth is just another myth, same as protein, same as calcium.
I have to just add, this is a great point. I have to also add that because the animals today, unlike what we think, what actually we keep a blind eye on, and we shut our eyes, and we don't want to learn the truth, is that the animals also, we have to look at what the animals are eating, which is that they're fed like something that they were never fed naturally before. It's not the same beautiful cow that is gazing on pastured fields, you know, having the grass and the soil and getting her B12 from. It's literally cows being fed corn and
Enslaved, and yeah, it's really an unnatural environment for those animals, which they suffer in a very horrific way, unnecessary. We do not, since we do not need meat to thrive and survive, we can live very well on a plant-based diet. Since it's not a necessity, there comes the crime. There
yes,
comes the horrific crime. Since you're doing something, you don't really need to do it.
yes,
So it's a crime. Now,
absolutely,
if we were in a survival situation and you have to kill this cow, and if you don't kill it, you will die of hunger. No, it's okay. You can kill it. It's a matter of survival here. But we're living in 21st century today. We're living in a city. We're not hunting. We're not predators. We just have to go to any supermarket and choose the product that we want to buy. We have the moral responsibility to choose the product that causes the less harm to
yes,
the environment, to our planet, and if it involves killing a sentient being, this is completely unacceptable.
yes. I've been reading also. I've been reading some comments. There are some very nice comments. And one of the comments is that so if we don't eat animals, it's so difficult to go vegan. But the thing is where I think a little bit, I mean, once you understand the health hazards, also, I'm sorry, I don't mean to deviate this into purely health.
No worries.
This is what people tend to be concerned. Most people on. And as I said, what's important for me is that once people start going towards a plant-based diet, there's really no return. And their health, because as they start consuming more plants, health starts going really, I mean, there's acceleration of good health, you know, altogether. Better focus, less brain fog, more energy. They even feel like their becomes less because they start getting like all the nutrients that they need. Whereas when people eat, I mean, when we're brainwashed eating animals, what we do is that we just put a steak on the fire or whatever. And it's funny when we say, "Oh, I'm not frying steak, but I'm grilling my steak," you know. It's thinking that's the better way, and just put lettuce next to it, and this is and a bit of, I don't know, boiled potatoes or whatever that comes with it, and this is mainly the not knowing that even digesting meat takes at least 3 days. So the stress that it puts on our digestive system is just humongous.
Of
It's
course.
insane. So when I see people's diet, animal food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, well, no wonder why they feel exhausted all the time and they feel cranky, and because of the load that they're putting on.
You just have to check the hospitals, Danielle, and you will find out that people are dying or hospitals are full of patients that are suffering from diseases caused by eating animals.
I have none of my patients that is suffering or anything about eating hummus or eating broccoli or eating wara anab or eating jadra. I
Yes,
mean, hummus never caused any pandemic. Hummus never caused any artery to clog,
absolutely,
neither jadra. So
absolutely,
it's obvious. It's obvious the cause of our diseases.
absolutely.
People are so addicted to the substance, and they know that this is the root cause of their disease, but they continue consuming. I have a friend of mine. He suffers from cholesterol. He keeps on eating eggs and chicken, which are filled with cholesterol. But his argument is that he's taking a cholesterol pill or medication. So this is how people operate. They harm themselves, and at the same time they're okay because they're having the medication taken. This is
It's worth.
absolutely absurd,
Yeah.
and it doesn't make any sense at all. I
It,
wanted to mention one thing before going to your other point, if I may.
yes.
Why is cheese so addictive, and
Abs-
why do all the vegetarians they mock vegans and they won't go vegan at all? By the way, vegetarian is same as carnivore. It causes the same amount of harm for the animal. If someone goes vegetarian thinking that he's helping animals, he's not. The amount of suffering in the dairy industry is unbelievable. So why is cheese so addictive? Because it contains a protein called casein. This
yeah.
casein protein, once injected in your body, will do the same job as morphine, and it will trigger your brain into thinking that you
Feel good
injected
hormone.
some kind, yeah, and
Yeah.
it will transform into casomorphine, which will give you some sensation of pleasure. So this is why cheese is so addictive, and this is
Ab-
why the majority of vegetarians won't turn vegan because they are so hooked to cheese, and they just can't let go because of the casein. So it's a real addiction. It's not just a
It's
philosophical
real
term.
addiction.
Is an addiction for real. This is
Yeah.
concerning cheese.
I
Now,
actually, I,
you mentioned that yeah. Please go ahead.
no, go. No, I just want to add something about the cheese and the dairy, because even with my client, because I think once you are aware of what you're eating and the chemistry of your and how it's changing the chemistry and the biology of your body and why you're so addicted to certain foods, it becomes easier to withdraw from the food. So
Yes.
this is one of the things that I clearly explain to everyone, that while nature has got way also to when the baby is born, this is how nature intended it to be. I mean, the milk has to be addictive for the baby so that the baby asks for it again, and then so that it can promote its growth, the baby's growth until, well, whenever it reaches the weaning stage. So it's a very natural way. It's not like the dairy is the enemy, just that it's not for an adult human anymore. It's yeah, and,
It's
and
not for human consumption.
it's not for human consumption. Sorry. Yeah,
Cow's milk
I,
is for baby calves.
yeah. I just want
It's
to
just
add.
simple.
I just don't want to forget something, because someone just mentioned is mentioning the MSGs found in spices that make meat addictive. I think that's a very good point, because most of the time we think that it's more the spices that we like, you know in
Yeah,
the
of
in
course, this is worth mentioning that meat by itself doesn't have any taste. I mean, if you kill the animal and eat its flesh raw, it won't have any kind of taste. This is why we have so many kinds of meat. It's not the kind of meat; it's the different spices that we add to our meat in order to make it taste a little bit more like plants. This is what's
Yes.
really absurd. I mean, meat itself doesn't have any taste. It's when we add the spices and we marinate it with some other sauces. It's when we get attached to the taste, and we think that actually what we like is the taste of meat. Actually, what we do like is the taste of spices, because the meat doesn't have any taste, and it's the mix of those spices with the sauces that gives us a specific taste that we think that we're addicted to this. And what's funny is that we're able today to veganize everything. I mean, all what I used to eat before I'm eating today, kafta, lahm ajin, everything those I'm eating those today again. Minus the cruelty, minus the cholesterol, minus the growth hormones, minus yeah, you
The
name it.
antibiotics.
So yeah, it's all about how you spice your food. So you can
Absolutely.
have the same exact taste as food as the other kind of food which is based on animals, but in a plant version, healthier, cleaner, environmental friendly, and you name it.
Yes. Absolutely. Sorry, I cut you through. I think you wanted to mention something right after the dairy addiction, and I
Yeah,
jumped.
because you mentioned that you receive a lot of comments about people wondering what would they eat if they ever
Yeah.
go vegan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First of all, it's extremely easy to be vegan in Lebanon.
Sorry, especially athletes or people who work out who want to keep their body.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. So first, let's talk about is it easy or hard to be vegan in Lebanon? Let's start. They should know
Super.
that more than 70 to 80% of our naturally born food is actually vegan, plant-based. I mean, you have to go to any Lebanese restaurant or Arab restaurant, open up the menu, you'll figure out that uh, more than 80% of the items that you can order in the menu is actually vegan. So this is not really a hassle of what to eat. You have so many things to eat.
Yes.
Actually, what not to eat are just those few things: meat, chicken, dairy, and eggs. Four things. You can eat all what's left, and believe me, you have a lot of a huge variety will open up actually, and a new taste buds will emerge because you will
Absolutely.
start to exploring new foods, new taste, and this is just amazing. It's really amazing how you can discover such new taste buds that you never thought that you might experience ever. I mean, it used to be chicken meat, chicken meat every day. We changed the spices and that's it, you know.
And it
So
even
it was really boring,
the
and now it's not boring. Yeah.
yes,
Now
it even
concerning
gave
the
us a food
athletes,
order. Yeah. When we were on just animal, I mean, a lot of animal products. I mean, I can see a lot of depressed people, a lot of people who even the way their bodies are. I mean, 85 to 95% of our body shape is because of the food we eat, and I can clearly see that in meat eaters.
yes, of course. Actually, what you inject in your body, it will only but reflect. It will
Absolutely.
reflect on your mood because, as you know, you have the gut that more than I don't know which percentage, which it's quite high, operates in your digestive system, and you
70.
have the
Yeah.
yeah, and you have the serotonin that
Yeah.
is triggered, and yeah. So if you inject suffering and you inject all this nasty stuff, it will only but reflect on your body, your humor, your day-to-day operations.
Sorry, I
It
just
is karma. It is karma. So you
it is,
inject
and
suffering, you will become suffering.
yes, and I have to add now that you said about suffering is that even the environment that these animal farms, I mean, the animals in the farms are living in is just horrifically stressful. So a person, and not to mention that we don't know if the meat that we are eating has got cancer cells already, because we know that
Of
stress,
course,
I mean, or disease cells. So while we're a lot
they
of
all
animals,
go through the grinder, and
absolutely,
it's
and a
it's
lot of
well packed in a supermarket shelf, well packed. The ground minced meat, ready to cook. You have inside uh, pus. You have inside the tumors, cancer tumors. All go to the grinder because they can't afford losing. It's all about money. It's all about money making. They
all
do not
about.
care about your health. They do not care about what you inject in your body. They provide diseases, and big pharma provide chronic and a lifetime treatment of medications. So Who's winning? Big pharma is winning, and the animal agriculture is winning. Who's losing? We are losing.
We are losing big time. Yes, like we are, and the problem is today because you own also a hospital, so you would know really well. Because I know that you create a lot of awareness within your staff about nutrition and plant-based diets and being vegan and all. But a lot of hospitals don't, and even when you go in the medical field, I mean, there is a very little nutrition studies. And I was when I actually discovered that, I was like, wow, so now it explains it, you know, because
It
doctors
says it all.
clue about nutrition.
Doctors, they have 1 or 2 hours maximum of nutrition per week. So
Uh,
yeah, you can assume that they don't know much about nutrition, which is the cause of all diseases they are treating.
yes, yes, absolutely. And it's sad. It's really sad.
It's very sad, and actually, I saw a post like a few months ago from a very known and renowned hospital in Lebanon. I will not mention which hospital, university hospital. They posted a post about the benefits of eggs and how eggs are very good for your health. Do you know that the FDA, they themselves mentioned that it's unsafe and it's you can't promote eggs as being safe. And
Absolutely.
here, yeah, and here at the very renowned and respectful university hospital, they are promoting eggs as being
As
healthy. Seriously, you're a health clinic, and you are supposed to treat people, and you are supposed to tell them not to get sick in order for them to come at your hospital. Or
yeah,
if you're doing it just for business, it's something else. But if you have ethics alongside business, you should not be promoting what is the root of the people that are getting sick and coming to our hospital. It's absurd.
you know, I wish people who would consume eggs, who still attach to eggs, because some people say, okay, fine, I would eat chicken, I would not eat red meat, but you know, I still need my eggs, you know, and I can see that, you know, the egg pack and you know, they're kind of still again emotionally attached to that. And but if just one time they go in a egg farm, I'm sure they would never eat egg ever again. The smell
It,
of ammonia,
it
once
goes, yeah,
you
it goes the
build it,
same with
uh,
the meat that we're feeding our children, the cheese, the ham and cheese sandwich, بالسابع ده, انت عامل لك
yeah,
ساندويتش لابني ايه انه لا do they know what are you feeding them jambon? Do you know how ham got to the sandwich? The pigs had to be gas chambered in order to be stunned and slaughtered later. Do you know that the cheese that it is in our sandwich, do you know that it's a product of rape? It's a product of enslaving the mother, of exposing the mother, of kidnapping the baby, of killing the baby if this baby is male, for the veal and calf skin industries. Uh, do we know that at the end of the 5-year exploitation of the cow, this cow will no longer have the strength to stand up on her 4 legs?
absolutely,
They are called downers by those dairy industries. They come and pick those cows like
like,
cheap trash in a
mm,
caterpillar machine, and they take it to the abattoir. This is how we thank this cow who normally is supposed to live up to 20 years. The normal lifespan of a cow is 20 years. But after 4 to 5 years of forcibly impregnate the cow, raping the cow, kidnapping the baby, abusing her for her milk, after 4 to 5 years, this cow is completely dried out, had no more thanks, and
yeah,
we take her to the abattoir like trash. We slit her throat, we kill this dairy cow, and we provide the cheap meat industry with this cow. So all the cheap meat that we buy today, and all the burgers that we eat here and there in those supermarkets or in the restaurants, those this meat, it comes from dairy cows, not from beef cows. So yes, drinking milk hurts the animal. Drinking milk or cheese, eating cheese kills the animals. You know, this is what vegetarians don't know. They think that they are just not eating meat. This is how they are sparing the life of the animal. Whereas if they are drinking the cow's milk or eating the cheese, this cow is living a miserable life for at the end to get slaughtered for the
For the
meat industry. So the dairy industry is the shadow industry of the meat industry. The dairy industry is the supplier to the meat industry.
absolutely.
So if you inform your child, your baby, your friend or whomever that this is a product of cruelty, it's up to the person
Yes,
to take this information and to
absolutely,
see what this person will do with this information. It's up to
absolutely.
you. If you are okay with violence, you will continue consuming violence. If you are okay with enslaving and torturing and slitting throats of innocent animals just because you like the taste of it, you will never change. It's
Yes,
veganism is not about us, it's about them. This is why
absolutely.
this is the difference actually between plant-based and veganism. Plant-based is when you think about yourself. It's when you think that you want to be in good health and you want to. This is plant-based. Whereas veganism is when you think about the other that is being uh,
So,
unjustly
George,
tortured. Yeah.
I think there is like 10 seconds remaining, but we can go back on the line if you want. I just hello, sorry.
Back again.
Hi, back again. I'm telling you, we can speak for hours. I think it's such a
It is. It is. I didn't feel time running this
hours.
fast.
I didn't know that there was. It's the first time I go so long on
Ah,
live.
okay.
So
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
an
know
one
it
hour
was a
thing.
one
Yeah,
hour.
absolutely.
So
No
now
worries. It's okay.
I
It's
just
all
want
good.
I just want to add one thing that actually somebody mentioned, and which was not part of the topic, because today we wanted to talk about protein, B12, and calcium, but we spoke about so many broader topics, and I honestly think it's such valuable information, because once there is awareness, then it's easier to create action, for anybody, whether it's because of animal rights, or if it's because of our health, and I think all of these, a combination of all of that, will create a better environment. I mean, for me, honestly, it's like more people going towards plant-based or veganism. It's less animals suffering. So I just want to mention something about antibiotics, because when we got cut off, there was someone was asking about antibiotics.
Yes.
Um, it's worth mentioning that actually, based on recent studies, because you are in the medical field, and you know that, I mean, it's only recently that they discovered that the gut health is so important for our existence, actually, not even well-being, for us to exist. It's a whole universe of microbes that are more than all stars in the universe, which we
Yes.
don't know. And antibiotics, well, kind of, it disbalances all. I mean, it kills the. Well, we all know that it kills well, everybody kind of says it kills the good microbes. It's not even about the good or bad microbes. We need a combination of all of that, because even bad microbes
Of course.
can be microbes, right? So when based on a recent research, if a woman was to take one course of antibiotic a year, during a course of a year, if I'm not mistaken, she's got something about like, if I'm not mistaken, like a huge percentage. I think about like 24% of like of risk of major depression. And if she were to take 2 courses during the same year, well, that goes higher. So imagine, at least when we take antibiotics, we know what we're taking. When we're eating meat, we don't know how much antibiotics we are eating.
Let me add something, if you may.
Yes.
Do you know that more than 80% of all antibiotic production worldwide goes to animal agriculture?
Exactly.
So it says a lot. It says a lot. Do you know that each and every animal that people eat are injected with antibiotic and growth hormones? Why? Because antibiotic and growth hormones, first of all, what they do is that they fatten up the animal. So an animal, in 3 months, you're going to have a chicken that's the size of, yeah. So this is the first cause. The second cause, they are fed with antibiotic, is because they are all crowded all together. I mean, if you have one animal, you have another one right next to him, and you have the whole group of animals that are all sitting together. If one animal gets sick, eventually he will infect others. So resulting in having the whole lot infected. So what happens is that farmers, they inject by preventive maintenance, let's say, some kind of prevention. They inject the sick and the non-sick animal with antibiotic, resulting in injecting all animals with antibiotic, the sick ones and the non-sick ones. The problem is that when you are injecting and eating meat filled with antibiotic and growth hormones, you are creating to your body something called antibiotic resistance.
Absolutely.
And this is the next pandemic that we're going to face.
Absolutely.
It's a huge problem. The antibiotic that we know today will no longer be effective tomorrow. With all those antibiotic being prescribed in a non-professional way, and with all the antibiotic that is being injected by the meat that the people are eating, they are causing themselves antibiotic resistance. So when they'll have an infection someday, they will be facing a big problem if they ever find an antibiotic that will be able to overcome the infection that they have. So yeah, this is a huge problem. People should take this into consideration. Meat is full of cruelty, full of antibiotic, full of growth hormones, full of chemicals, full of heme iron, which is very bad and causes cancer. It's filled with cholesterol, it's filled with trans fatty acids, it's filled with trans fatty acids. Yeah. Every component that you don't want to inject in your body, you can find it in meat, dairy, and eggs. And same goes, like a vehicle, your car, you will not fuel your car with bad fuel. It only makes sense. Why can we apply this logic to our car? And we don't want to apply it to ourselves.
I have, why? Because we take our bodies for granted, because our bodies is such an impressive vehicle that can heal itself by itself, and we tend to say,
not really. When you see the hospitals are filled with sick people dying from those, so it's not healing.
Yeah, like everything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, George. I mean, I'm telling you, I talk to you like for hours and hours.
Maybe we need to make a part 2 of the interview so that we have some other stuff to talk about.
I think we have to, and I've been running this questionnaire to some of my clients. I think it would be interesting also to maybe do a webinar where people can ask,
of course, even better
questions.
Some more interaction about this topic, yeah.
Yes, and there's someone, Rola, is saying we only wake up when the disease is when the disease takes over. It's so sadly it's so true. It's so true. Thank you, Vanessa, so much for has been our support. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you. All right. Thank you, George, so much.
Okay, Daniel, it really was a pleasure talking to you.
Same
It's
here.
always challenging and interesting. You always raise important and serious questions. And I really look forward to our next meeting.
Me too.
I think that we have a lot of important stuff to discuss. People are open to receiving new information. So yeah, why not? Can do it.
And I think now it's the right time, because people, like you said, they're open to because they've seen what all the I mean what
I
are
just wanted
doing.
to add something, Danielle,
Yes,
before we end up this conversation. Talk about what's happening today with the coronavirus and the COVID-19 pandemic. You realize that governments, they took measures, such as closing schools, universities, businesses, public transports, So they closed everything, but what did they keep open? Slaughterhouses, abattoirs. The source, the source of what we're enduring today. We're enduring today a pandemic that is 70%. You have the chance that it is caused by animal infection, zoonotic disease. But we are expert in telling people to stay home. We are expert in closing schools and universities and businesses. We are expert in telling people to wear gloves and to wear masks and to keep social distancing with the other person that you're talking. But at the same time, you encourage people to go and drink milk and eat cheese and eat flesh and blood, the cause of the problem. Seriously, why don't you close the slaughterhouses, the breeding grounds? This is the breeding
okay.
ground of pandemics, of infections, of viruses. Shut them, shut those before shutting down schools and
Not
universities. It's really shame, and it's obvious, but people don't want to see. The addiction is so real that they don't want to see. They are ready to wear masks. They are ready to wear gloves. They are ready to stay home, locked down. But they are not ready to let go of their addiction and the source of why we are locked down today.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for, and again, even on this topic, we can go on for hours, because all the
It's a new topic we can,
that
yeah.
this creates for the people who work in the slaughterhouses, and all the health causes that it creates around the slaughterhouse,
Yeah.
but again, it's another subject. We can keep on going on.
Yes. We can talk
So
about this later
yeah,
in another interview.
I
Yes,
think
of
it
course.
really deserves another live, or another. I would suggest a webinar. We can really tackle
I'm in for
every
that.
every,
Whenever.
every point. Alright.
Yeah,
Thank you
yeah.
so much, George,
Okay,
and
Daniel, thanks a
thank
lot and have a
you
nice
for,
day. Hope to see you soon.
thank you. Same here. Same here.
Okay, bye-bye.
Lockdown will be over soon.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Good luck. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you also, everyone. Thank you, everyone who has been on this call, on this live video. I hope you got your answers, and we will definitely keep you posted on the next one. All right. Bye. Have a beautiful day, everyone.